Welcome back. Welcome back to the Improve and Progress Hour. My name is Omar Muhammad. Hey, yes, I'm back, y'all. I know Jasmine and Tamara set in for me. Thank you for that. Sometimes you have to travel. And, the radio show can't stop when I'm not here. So we got these two dynamic young entrepreneurs sitting in for me. So I really appreciate them for coming on board. All right, y'all. Today is HBCU by association. Yep. That's where we focus on HBCU alum who are entrepreneurs, as well as we do a masterclass. So we're going to do a masterclass later on. But first, we're going to bring in an entrepreneur from a different HBCU. And for those who are not familiar with HBCU by association, it's where relationships are on purpose and help and finding common ground so everyone wins. Yeah, y'all. I know we always shouting out Morgan, Howard University, Hampton, Spelman. Hey, y'all, we all HBCUs. How can we work together to build economic development around our schools and in our communities? So with that said, let's go to the line and let's bring in our first guest. All right, Ed, are you there?
Yes, I am, Omar. How are you?
Man, I'm improving and progressing. Before we get started, man, first of all, thank you for coming on board at the last minute.
Absolutely.
I want to, ask for prayers for my mentor. He was supposed to be here today. However, he's under the weather. So if we can go ahead and pray for him. He's a big Morganite as well. So Mr. Willis, get better, and we'll see you next time. All right, Ed, thank you for coming on board. This is Ed Jackson. We're going to learn more about what you do. But let's talk about what HBC did you attend, and what was your major?
I attended Hampton University, and my degree is in English. But before we say anything else, I want to give a shout-out to Morgan because one of my twin sons was just selected for one of the master's programs there. So shout out. I'm a big fan of Morgan now, too.
There you go,
I
man.
am a Hamptonian, proud Hamptonian with a degree in English.
Okay. So what led you to the world of entrepreneurship? Before you get there, my bad. I always want to ask entrepreneurs before they come on board and talk about their entrepreneurial venture. So there are 4 places on campus, and I just want to know what did you gravitate to when you were a student at Hampton University? So let me just mention the 4. They just happen to spell HBCU. So the first one is Homecoming. The second one, the B is, I should say, Black Excellence. The C is for Clubs and Organizations, and the U is for United Place. So what did you gravitate to?
I'd certainly say a united place because I spent time at places in the cafeteria, at the student union, where there was a lot going on. I actually break it down with 3 P's: party, purpose, and peace. As you know, at Hampton, we've got the waterfront.
Yeah.
That was our peace. We had the student union. That was our party. And then right in between that, the library, that was our purpose. So, but as with every HBCU, there's something for everyone, but it all comes down to Black excellence.
There we go, man. I love that. All right. So you were an English major. So what led you to entrepreneurship?
Well, I spent the last 40 years in corporate America, primarily running call centers, doing operations for healthcare, for telecommunications, and I was blessed to have about 1,000 different direct reports over those years. And I was able to help quite a few people get to the next step and help a lot of organizations to prosper. And I thought, I'm retired now. What can I do to give back and also do something that I enjoy? What do I do well? So I was paid to find problems before they became crisis. Now I can do that same thing. Myself and my team, we can do that same thing for HBCUs. So that's what led me here.
All right, well, let's jump right into it. HBCU Lift. Let's
Right.
educate us about, what that is. Is there a website before we get started?
There is. It's
Yep.
HBCU Lift, LIFT.com.
Great deal.
And that LIFT stands for Legacy, Impact, Funding, and Transformation. And so our goal is to help historically black colleges and universities improve their operational excellence, strengthen their alumni engagement, get more funded, and just create better overall experiences for students, parents, alumni, and stakeholders. Omar, we hear all the time, and I'm on a lot of the different Facebook sites dealing with HBCUs, and we think back to our previous years about the long lines, and we think, oh, that was well, it wasn't fun when it was happening,
Yeah.
and it's not fun to those individuals who didn't get to finish school. They don't think back on those long lines. They don't think back on those missed opportunities, those loans that didn't come in, those calls that should have been answered, that because they weren't answered, they're not in school. That's not fun. So our goal is to make sure that no student misses the opportunity to be a graduate because of a missed call, because of an incorrect or inaccurate website, because of lack of alumni engagement, because of old technology. We've got people on our team to fix all of those things, subject matter experts up and down the board.
I love the subject matter experts, and I love how you, excuse me, you talk about, solving the problem. I mean, this is what this particular radio show is all about. And, it's a radio workshop. Is what entrepreneurs come on and they share their journey, as well as give tips and strategies on helping other entrepreneurs just do that, move forward in business and in life. So, Ed, let me ask a question about legacy. So first of all, how long have you been doing this? HBCU Lift.
We actually just started doing this. We're just, the LLC just started 3 months ago. The actual activities related to HBCUs for me, all my adult life. I'm going to tell you quickly about my HBCU journey. Before I started college, Omar, I was nominated class quietest in my high school here in Supplin. I didn't win because people were like, who was that? I was so quiet, they didn't even know who I was. When I got to college freshman year, I was so concerned about or so uncomfortable being in front of folks that I tried to drop speech class. Hampton wouldn't let me. By the time I finished Hampton, I was voted most congenial, and I was Mr. Panhellenic. The individuals, the people at the school itself, it raised me. It transformed me and made me into the person that I am today. These sort of things that happen at HBCUs, they just don't happen everywhere. And I want everyone to have the opportunity to have that sort of a story, just like I did.
Absolutely. I'm here at Morgan State University. I'm an alum at Morgan. And, one of the things that I see when I talk to other individuals who work at an HBCU, it's like, what if we did some things differently? So with your company, what are you finding when you work with HBCUs?
Well, there's a lot of heart. That's the number one thing.
You say
there's
heart?
A lot of heart. We know that the difference between an HBCU and say maybe a PWI or some extremely large school is you don't have that one-on-one connection. You don't have that student professor interaction. You don't have that person that will sit down right in front of you and say, you better get it together. You don't have that person that even knows your name. So we want that. We want that at the HBCUs, and that's what happens. But what I also see is that there are some issues like disconnected phone numbers, full voicemail boxes, inaccurate websites, outdated contact information, and missed opportunities to engage alumni. These are small issues, but they create huge, huge problems. And these are things that we can fix. I mean, just imagine being a prospective student or a parent, a donor, or an alumnus. You're trying to reach a school, and no one answers the phone. Every missed call could represent lost enrollment, lost donations, or lost engagement.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was going to be my point. You know, you're positioning this company not just to leave a legacy, but you're also solving a problem for the schools and helping the schools generate some missed income, and get the income back. So
that's right.
That's
right.
I really appreciate that. Yep.
And we approach it a little differently than other folks. We're not interested in producing a 100-page document that just sits on the shelf. We look at practical solutions that schools can implement immediately. Is the information that's on the website, is it wrong? Is there an easy path to giving? When you click on Give, does it send you to another page that tells you to dial a number? That's not user friendly,
right.
But that's something that can be easily fixed. So with our team of operations experts, leadership development, facilities management, AI, other technology, public affairs, grant support, environmental health, and alumni engagement specialists, we've got everything covered. Everything. We just need to talk to the schools to make sure that they allow us to help them make these things happen.
Absolutely. All right. So if you're just joining us, this is the Improve and Progress Hour. My name is Omar Muhammad, helping you improve and progress in business and in life. If you want to reach out to us, speaking with Ed Jackson, he is the CEO, founder of HBCU Uplift. Our number here is 410-319-8888. So, Ed, what are some of the, because this is, like I said, this is a show about entrepreneurship. So what are some of the you don't have to give me all your secret sauce, but what are some of the strategies that you're using to outreach to these HBCUs? And you don't have to tell me who you're reaching into the HBCUs, but what are some of the strategies that you're doing to reach into the HBCUs?
Connections and vetting. So at HBCU Lift, we actually try to uplift individuals by connecting them. There are so many, the degrees of separation for HBCU grads is not 6 degrees, it's more like 2 or 3. Right. And I think the challenge, though, Omar, is that I don't know that all of us really appreciate that or know that. And so it's like having someone right down the street who knows how to write grants, and you want to get a grant written, or someone right down the street that understands fire code, and you want to make sure that businesses stay safe. They're all in the same neighborhood, but you don't talk to your neighbors, so you don't know what sort of services you can glean from them and what sort of services you can provide. So one of the number one things that we do is try to connect with a lot of our peers, with other individuals in the HBCU space, so that we can give and take to make sure that everyone prospers. And then the other thing, and this a lot of this comes from my role managing operations and call centers for years, just simply vetting the different numbers, calling the different numbers, see if they go where they're supposed to, listening to the voice response units to see if you press 4 and you're supposed to get financial aid. Do you get financial aid, or do you get the cafeteria? Wow. And I'm not trying to be facetious, but some of these things are not directed to the right place. And a lot of times in a lot of HBCUs, there's a lot of change. So if there's a certain person in a certain role and they have a certain telephone number, the call goes to that person, and they're no longer hot. They're no longer in that role. Maybe they've been promoted. Maybe they've moved on to some other organization. Well, they never get that call. And so these are things that can be fixed, but it requires someone to know that there's a possibility that something is broken to fix it. And that's where we come in.
All right. Well, good deal. All right. We just talked about this guy, man. He called in there. He must have heard us talking about him. All right. So we got Derek Burnett.
Derek, yes.
What's going on, Derek?
Always a privilege and pleasure to talk with you, Mr. Omar Muhammad, and especially my brother, Mr. Eduardo Jackson. I didn't hear y'all talk about me. I guess I was calling in then, but knowing Ed like I know him, that's my brother, so it's all good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So questions, comment, or you just calling in just to say what's up, man?
Oh, no, man. I'm calling in to let everybody know I'm a part of this HBCU Lift team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your role since you coming in? What's your role, Mr. Burnett? Hey, what school was that you went to again?
I went to Hampton University.
All right. There you go.
the best HU.
Oh, boy.
We may not be the first, but we are the best.
Okay. All right. So I'm not with the other HU, but we all family though.
That's right. That's why we're coming together under these circumstances.
Absolutely.
But my role, I'm in the real estate development and facility management pillar of the organization. So
Gotcha.
I've got over 30 years of design, construction, and management experience dealing with federal, state, municipalities, commercial, religious, residential type of design and construction projects.
So I want to ask both you and Ed, this is the HBCU by Association segment, and it's really a segment, a movement to bring alum together, no matter what HBCU they graduated from, but it is an opportunity for us to all work together. Are you all seeing that in your particular business and separate from your business? Are you seeing HBCU alum working together, whether they're working in business or they're doing business with one another?
That's hard to say. Go ahead, Ed. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say I've seen both doing business and as well as separately. But that's what makes, I think, this team so dynamic. We're not. Although it sounds like it, we're not all just Hampton people on the team. We're Hampton, Virginia State, UDC, and we are Central State. And just one other thing I want to add. You heard what Derek mentioned. He's still not sharing all the tremendous things that he does. Derek is a Black Wall Street winner there in Baltimore, extremely prominent gentleman. And remember when I told you about how I was so quiet, and then I came out of my shell? He had a lot to do with that. He actually told me to lead to host an event, and Derek, you really respect that brother. So I was like, okay, and I haven't put down the mic since then. But that's what our HBCUs do, and that's the type of people that we have on this team, alumni that work together for the good of other alumni and students.
Yeah, absolutely. Derek, you wanted to jump in?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like Ed said, I've seen both, but I haven't seen enough. I'm going to put it that way. And, that's why we're in existence. I think we could do so much more. I honestly believe during these days and times, it's time for us to circle the wagons and do more for self as individual campuses, as individual universities, and as collective communities. Because nobody else is going to do it for us but us. So why not us?
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. That's what we're here for, man. Working together. I've known Derek for a number of years. I'm still the young one in the group, Derek, right? for Black Professional Mid Days, man.
Yeah, you was. But that was a few years ago. I don't know if you're still the youngest though.
well, I appreciate
but
you.
you were there, Omar. You were there. That's the beautiful thing, man.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure interacting and working with you, and I always saw the potential and professionalism in you. So, you were doing exactly what we expected you to do.
I appreciate that, bro. Really appreciate it. Well, thank you for calling in. I really appreciate you for calling in.
No problem. Always a pleasure. Take care, Ed. Take care, Omar.
Thank you, DB1.
All right, good deal.
Yeah.
All right, 410-319-8888 is the number to call. So, Ed, what would you say to alum who are tuned in right now, as we just spoke about, how should we all begin to work together, work together so that we can begin to build, not just here in Maryland, but down in Hampton, Virginia, I'm just going to say North Carolina. What advice would you give to other alum entrepreneurs?
I'd say, one, reach out to other alum from other schools. Just realize that there are a lot of us out there. That's number one. And we can certainly help each other as we continue to do what we do, continue to prosper our business, and don't stop. Don't stop. Certainly you want to ensure that you've got all your processes in place. You've got your EIN. You've got all of your appropriate documents, but don't stop. Don't stop and look back and think maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I don't have everything. And dream big, but be practical. But you have to dream big. And lastly, once you're successful, do something different. Because too often, and this isn't just in new businesses, this is just period. Too often, when folks are successful, they'll become stagnant and just look at one potential stream of revenue, one potential way to help. That's not the way that we want to be built. We have the way that we generally will reach out to the schools with some of the operational scenarios, but there's all these other things that we're looking at providing. And we're not just reaching out to people. We're asking people to reach out to us. We're engaging with other HBCU organizations. There's an opportunity to do this. There's a lot of opportunity. Let me say it that way. We just saw the information from Forbes that highlighted all of the private schools in the country, the private colleges in the country. There are 35 HBCUs that were part of that. Of those 35, 75% of them were rated at C, a grade of C or below. It's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
And the only way to fix something like that is for all of us to recognize it and to come together to make sure that it happens.
Absolutely. All right, so we got about 3 minutes left. All right, 4 minutes left. Good. All right, so 4 minutes left. What advice would you give to students who are not at HBCU but looking to come to a HBCU?
I tell them to reach out to the alumni organizations within their city. I'm here in Prince George's. I am the chaplain for the Prince George's chapter of the National Hampton Alumni Association, and we have a cookout every late July or August every year to welcome our students. There are so many students that are going to various HBCUs that don't know that other students are going to those same HBCUs. Even with all of the different social media, whether it's IG or TikTok or Twitter, there's still folks that don't know each other. So, parents need to talk to other parents. Students need to talk to other students. And parent students need to engage with alumni.
I like like that. Yes, alumni. All right. So with the time that we have remaining, what do you want individuals to learn more about what you're doing with HBCU Uplift, and give your contact information out as well?
Sure. So, .com. And again, my name is Ed Jackson. And our vision is simple. Every HBCU is the same operational excellence that Fortune 500 companies expect for themselves. And if we can help an HBCU answer every call, engage more alumni, improve efficiency, and increase revenue, we're helping students succeed. That's what I want people to know.
All right. Once again, give that website so people can have it in their head, in their ear, put it in their phone. And are you on social media as well?
I am.
Okay.
I am. Well, my org is not yet, but we will be on very shortly. But again, HBCU Lift, LIFT.com stands for and legacy. So HBCU Lift stands for Legacy, Impact, Funding, and Transformation. So legacy, we want you to come to our schools. We want you to prosper. We want you to have an impact. We want to make sure that you have the money to ensure that you can prosper. We want to transform you just like I was transformed, just like so many others have been transformed at our wonderful, historically black colleges and universities.
All right, brother. Thank you for coming on, Ed. Looking forward to hearing much more about what you're doing and connecting with you.
Thank you for having me, Omar.
Say again?
Thank you for having me, Omar.
All right, no problem. All right, we're going to take our first break, y'all. We'll continue right after this. All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Improve and Progress Hour. My name is Omar Muhammad, helping you improve and progress in business and in life. Want to thank Ed Jackson for coming on, HBCULift.com. I may travel over there, see what he's doing as it relates to HBCUs. So like I said, this is the HBCU by Association segment. And we always introduce a HBCU alum entrepreneur. And we also have a masterclass. So tonight's masterclass is all about GovCon. And my special guest, she's a real subject matter expert, y'all, on government contracting. Hey, Pam, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you for coming on board the Improve and Progress Hour.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Pam Miner, before we get started, let's talk about who you are and give out your contact information.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm Pamela Miner. I'm a Baltimore native.
Yeah.
And I am in government contracting. I've been in government contracting for well over 30 years. I actually jokingly say I'm the godmother of domain registration for the Internet because I worked for Network Solutions back when it first got started, the Internet, before anybody knew an Internet, a company, minority-owned, service-able vet-owned business named Network Solutions had the first government contracting for domain registration. I got the opportunity to be the first MIS director, Management Information System Director, Network Solutions, way back then.
Oh, wow. I mean, so you know what you're talking about then.
A little bit. As well as I then started my own company. I've had systems on actually the actual aircraft carrier out there in Iran waters and blowing up stuff in Venezuela. My company, we put a system on that aircraft carrier, and we did some work working with Lockheed Martin on the Zumwalt nuclear destroyer.
Wow. You know what you're talking about when it comes to government contract. I'm glad you're here. All right. Well, let's jump into this master class. we call Before You GovCon. So if you look at Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, you know, all of these experts are online, and they just make it so easy to do go into government contracting. And I want to ask the expert, how easy is it to go into government contracting?
It's not.
But
if
you
it
see,
was that easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would be rich because they hear about the billions of dollars spent on government contracting. And no, it's doable. However, it's a lot more to it than you hear.
All right, so let's jump into it. You know, like I said, you know, Instagram, TikTok, you know, LinkedIn. You know, you see all these experts say, "Hey, you buy my course, and you could be a millionaire in 3 months." You know, what is it about individuals that are looking to go into government contracting? Looking to go into government contracting.
Well, what I see is in today's world, it's like they go to YouTube University and they hear stuff, and we know a lot of stuff you hear on YouTube is not real anyway. So what I tell people is you have to be ready to be in government contracting, and that readiness process is very multi-stepped. So the first thing you'll hear people will say, well, you need to be registered in SAM, System for Award Management. It's a database that keeps information about the companies that want to be ready to do bids to the government. And that's called being procurement ready. As all that says is that your data is in the government database. They know what you do basically, and they know what industries you support. And that's basically what it knows. It has that you have a bank account, but they don't know whether it's a real bank account. They don't know really what your business does. It's just data to them. But it's data that you have to provide in order to get business with the government. I say after you get registered, even before, you need to prepare yourself. You need to be fit to bid. And to be fit to bid, that means that not only are you registered, but you need to understand that before you do government contracting, I tell people all the time, before you're a government contractor, you're a government financier. You win that contract. You go out and go on SAM and other databases or meet folks and they tell you about this opportunity. You bid on it and say you're lucky enough to win because you got the right proposals, you got the right people, all of that. However, what a lot of people don't talk about, you finance that bid before you get paid for it. So you did the work. Say you had to, let's say you're in HVAC and you got to put in 20 HVAC systems in government buildings. You have to buy those HVAC systems. You have to pay your employees to install it and whatnot. Then you invoice the government. If you invoice properly, you dot the I's and cross the T's, you might get paid, depending on what the contract says or what type of contract it is, you might get paid 30, 60, 90, 120 days later. However, you've already expended that money and your employees are waiting to be paid or your 1099 are waiting to be paid, and you don't have the money because you didn't realize that you had to fund that project before you got the money to pay for it.
Absolutely. So can we let's kind of back up something, Pam. So you really have to start a business, right?
You do.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to do what's required to do to be a business. You have to, and you know, there's different types of business. You hear people talk about LLC. Liabilities. They tell you that one is the one, but it might be better off. You need to know, is that the right structure for you, or should you be a S Corp or a C Corp, whatever, or you could even be a solopreneur and still get a government contract. So that's the research you need to do. Once you identify that type of business, then you have to follow the rules to be structured properly for that type of business.
Right. And, one of the things that I don't see, when these individuals are talking about, hey, you could get into GovCon or government contracting, is that financial piece that you talked about. They think that the government is going to give the people that I speak to, they are saying, hey, the government is going to give me this money so that I can go out and do this project. But it doesn't work that way.
No, they're not. They think they're going to get some free money. They think there's a shortcut. They think even that they get certifications, because you hear them getting certified as a woman-owned or service-disabled vet or hub zone, that alone, those types of things will get you the contract. It's not. It will get you visible to the contractors and whatnot, but it won't get you in the door.
Right. So your expertise is in government contract, among other things. So what is it that, the people who are listening today and maybe tomorrow or next week, what is it that those individuals need to do? I know we talked about some of them starting a business, getting ready, putting your name and registering for SAM. But what are some other steps that individuals can take to really get involved in government contracting and really doing the research to see if I know the government is one of the biggest customers in the world, but is there something that you're really prepared for mentally, financially?
Yes, all of that. Because and when you start that business, there's certain little things that you don't think about, and they add up. They want to know what North America Industry Classification System code do you have? That was an agreement that North America, Canada, U.S., and Mexico decided we would put a number on a code and a description on a type of work. Type of work I did was in computer systems. It had a number. And that number it's the same number whether it's in Canada, U.S., or Mexico. However, a lot of people don't know that that's just a very broad, like almost a 3,000 level foot description, computer systems. Today's computer systems, it could be AI, it could be cybersecurity, it could be coding, it could be any number of things, databases. So just because you are in that bubble of that number of this is computer systems that I do, it still gets to be a little more granular. And then you need to know what are they buying. Right. And that's another code, product service code. And when they hear product, often if they sell services, they hear the word product service, they think, oh, I don't have a product. That's the first thing they hear, and they shut down. No, everything has a code so that the government can keep track of it, because they like to keep statistics on, we had this opportunity, we had this problem, we got solved by this company with this number, like a Social Security number, but it's called a unique entity ID, to do this type of work, AI, to do over this period of time with this type of contract. What I didn't learn about until I was well into it, there's even the color of money. Meaning, when you hear about the budget, it has a certain color attached to it. If it is a defense contract, it's this color. And it's that color will say, you can't spend that money you may have over there, because I did a lot of work at NavAir and NavSea. You can't spend that money on janitorial service, even if you have a major event. You got to spend it on missiles. You got to spend it on aircraft carriers. So those kinds of things. So as you hear, there's a lot involved in what you sell to the government.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're just joining us, this is the Improve and Progress Hour on WEAA 88.9. My name is Omar Muhammad, helping you improve and progress in business and in life. And we got the expert on. Before you go and get involved in government contracting, there are some steps that you must take. Pam Miner is that expert. So Pam, I'm just looking at some of the individuals who are saying that they're government contractors. But if you look at their revenue, they don't have any revenue because they're still trying to get this contract. And I think you mentioned something about certification.
Yeah, well, they don't. Not only do they not have revenue, they don't have any past performance.
Say that again. Past performance. You need past performance.
Yes, you do. Would they prefer to be in government and in that same space with that same kind of dollar value?
Yeah.
Yes. But you can sometimes represent that you have knowledge in that area based on, say, a contract working for a business or even as a subcontractor to a company like a Lockheed or Boeing or something like that. But it's not directly, you're not the one who holds that contract. That's another thing. Who has privy of contract? Who has control over the actual contract?
If you have any questions for us, give us a call at 410-319-8888. I wanted to stay on past performance. So past performance, is there a way that if somebody is working in corporate and they're doing something, some type of service that the government, that kind of matches what government is doing, is that considered past performance?
No, your company has to have earned money from that past performance. And there are wiggle room for sometimes for like service disabled vets because
I was about to go there, but go ahead.
But they got their experience in DOD while being in the government, a civilian agency. So it's something like that, but it's mostly on the veteran side that type of experience can be that they got while working in the government, that they got that experience. So it can be, if you wordsmith that experience appropriately, it could be accepted.
And let's be clear. You said service disabled vet, not a vet. Is that correct?
Well, veterans can get some contracts. They do have a vet status, and if you are a service disabled vet, meaning you got disabled or some illnesses based on while you were serving in the military, and so therefore they give you you can get extra pay for that or extra health care, things of that nature because you got injured in the military. And the injury does not have to be physical injury. It could be PTSD. So that experience could have caused post-traumatic stress syndrome. And a lot of veterans can get services that status if they can prove that that's where that occurred. So that in itself is the process. Actually, my husband is a service disabled vet. He's a Marine. And it's not an easy process to get through, and he has no interest in running a business of any kind. But if he was, that would be something he could have pursued if that was what he wanted to.
So are there any low-hanging fruit, if you will? I mean, are there contracts that the government issues that are less than, let's say, $25,000?
Oh yeah, definitely. If they have an opportunity that's less than $25,000, that doesn't even have to be registered in that database SAM where current opportunities are. So if it hits the $25,000 threshold, it has to be published on SAM, System for Award Management. If they have what they call simplified acquisitions, so just like any place else, there's some products, as you know, that you could buy that does it. That if they know that you don't like make Dell computers, and that may be something they want. But so you may have an agreement with Dell that you sell their product and therefore you are a seller of that product. So they know you didn't make it, but you could have that agreement. You have a trade line and things that you need to be a provider of that kind of thing. The product side of things can be a little easier, shall we say.
So when you're doing government contracting or working with individuals who are looking to go into government contract, what advice would you give individuals, especially solo entrepreneurs, going into government contract above that $25,000 threshold?
Well, what you would do is that you got to be, I have a trademarked kind of a process that I call fit before you bid. So what you have to do is, and a lot of people who may be listening here have heard, you got to do the homework. Yeah. What is the homework? The homework is knowing who buys what you sell. You got to know when they buy it, why do they buy it, how do they, what's their mission, what's their vision, all that. All that data is out there and available to you. All you have to do is put in the work. And that's some long, laborious work. It's kind of a little less so now that we got AI in space that can help us do those kinds of things. But it's still, you got to make that relationship. It's a strongly relationship business. I was able to be successful in the GovCon space because I had strong relationships when I was doing government contracting down with NavAir. I lived in the Southern Maryland area, and I worked down at NavAir on systems and whatnot. And I had my initial contract. I was a position writer. Well, at the time, I was down there to the CIO down at NavAir. So I had relationships like that. And I also had relationships with the deputy CIO and stuff like that. And when you're in that space, you need to know who you need to know and then make sure that you can make those relationships. Because it is, think about it, when they give you that contract or award that contract to you, they're putting their career on the line because if you can't do the work, that could get them into trouble. So that's why they got to do their due diligence. So you need to do your due diligence on them. The data is out there. You can see, say, if it's a repeatable contract, something as simple as janitorial services. So they every few years they will renew that contract in janitorial services. So, and depending on what building it's in, you may need a security clearance. So all that kind of information, and you can then see what company had it the last 3 years, and it's about to come up for renewal this year. So you can then get information on your competition. You don't get to know that with commercial business. You get to see who your competition really is because they record it and that data is available. There's databases out there that give you that, like USA Spending. That's so the average citizen can go on there and say, what has the government been spending my money on?
Right, yeah. Is that .gov, usspending.gov?
Yes, usaspending.gov.
Got it. And how can one build relationships? I mean, are there events that individuals can go to so that they can begin to meet these contracting, I don't know if you call them contracting or procurement officers?
Yeah, there's even you can meet, I mean, networking is networking, no matter how you look at it. But they have industry days at bases if you're dealing with COD. They have industry days. They used to have a lot more. It's shifted a little bit recently, but even like at NIH, they would have industry days, and they would have people telling you what's coming up. They have forecasts. So every year they forecast what they're going to be spending money on. That data is available to you. So you can get to see fourth quarter of 2027, they will be buying this. And so you can prepare, long as it's not a live bid, you can get to know who that contracting officer probably be based on that data you have on who was running that contract the last 3 years.
So I know things have changed over the last couple of years. So are there still opportunities? I know we talked about veterans and service-disabled veterans. Are there opportunities for women-owned small businesses to get, I don't want to say, I guess, set-aside contracts with the federal government?
Yes, there's still, we understand that those set-asides, even though the current administration seems to not want certain set-asides to be executed now under that label, but those are codified in law that there is such a thing. There's a law that says that that they have to find a rule of two because they want small businesses to be successful. The government has wanted that over the years. So what they do is they had certain professionals in the agency for the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, but their job was to make sure when a contract is about to be put out there that small and minority-owned, women-owned, veteran businesses are considered. It's their job, so they will put out information called a sources sought. They are seeking to find at least two small businesses of a certain type to be able to do that work. So they'll put it out there, which is primarily a white paper you're responding to or a request for information that you can say that, yes, we can do this. And if you get at least two small businesses that prove that, yes, we can do it, that's how it becomes set aside for that type of business.
So when you say rule of two, is it two small businesses working together or?
No,
okay.
It's not. It's two separate small businesses that can perform the work.
Wow.
Now, when one wins and the other doesn't, that doesn't mean that they couldn't then work together, because often there's different, skill set and not that's needed on those contracts. So they could become subcontractors to that other company that actually won. That's why it's not so much a competitive place. It's a collaborative kind of space. So if two never go after it, it will always be left to the large and open company. So you want to have relationships not just with the agencies, but with other small businesses that y'all can work together and make sure it stays in the small business space.
And that's a masterclass for you. I know we went through this really quick, but it was a masterclass on, before you GovCon. So Pam, I really appreciate you as always. How can people learn more about what you're doing and your many businesses that you have?
Okay. Oh, well, there's an ecosystem for small businesses. One down here, you have the Apex Accelerator. I work for them part-time, and that's your tax dollars pay for that. And the tax dollars with DOD in the state of Maryland, they pay our salaries to help you do that. I have my own consulting company, Pam Minor Consult, as well as I'm the president and CEO of the Southern Maryland Minority Chamber of Commerce, and I cover Charles, Calvert, St. Mary's, and Southern Prince George's. So you can find me at any of those places. And like my Apex is P Minor at UMD for universitymaryland.edu. My Pam Minor Consults is Pamela at Pam Minor Consults with an S.com. And my chamber is Pres CEO for President CEO at smmcoc.org.
All right. Well, Pam, thank you for coming on board. Really appreciate you. We got to bring you back so we can do another masterclass.
Okay. I'm ready for the AI one next.
All right. Let's do that. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Pam. Again, want to thank Ed Jackson, who came on earlier with HBCUlift.com. Yeah, I really appreciate this. We'll be back next week. for more information about, what I'm doing, you can go to my website at improveandprogress.com. And next time we're on, we're going to have some more segments and some more radio workshops. Thank you, Lito, for bringing us in and taking us out. Until we see each other again, improve and progress. Peace.